Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Newsbrowse News broadcast. According to China Daily, the Shenzhou XXI mission crew aboard China's Tiangong space station successfully completed their third spacewalk early Friday morning. Mission Commander Senior Colonel Zhang Lu and spaceflight engineer Major Wu Fei spent approximately 5.5 hours outside the Wenchun Science Module, performing crucial operations. These tasks included installing space debris shields and inspecting extravesicular equipment, all with support from payload specialist Zhang Hong more inside the station and ground controllers. This event marked the 27th spacewalk by Chinese astronauts, and, notably, Zhang Lu achieved a new record for Chinese astronauts by undertaking his 7th spacewalk, adding to the 4 he performed during the Shenzhou XXI mission in late 2022. 联合早报 reports that Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps announced on Friday that a commander from the Axis of Resistance has issued a severe and unprecedented warning to all commercial and warships navigating the Bab el-Mandeb Strait. This warning is effective from noon on Saturday, April 18th, and signals a new phase of military tension in the strait. According to Iran's Fars news agency, Hatam Anbiya Central Headquarters Commander Abdullahi stated that Iran's armed forces are fully prepared for defense, attributing aggression to a misjudgment of their resolve. Meanwhile, AFP reported that U.S. President Trump indicated the possibility of resuming face-to-face talks with Iran over the weekend, suggesting they are very close to a peace agreement and that Iran has agreed to surrender enriched uranium, though Tehran has not publicly confirmed this. Trump also mentioned a potential visit to Islamabad for the agreement signing. The Axis of Resistance comprises Iranian-backed armed groups like Hamas, Hezbollah, and Houthi rebels, active in regional conflict. According to Zio Sabah, French Finance Minister Roland Lescure stated today that the Strait of Hormuz must be reopened, but specified it should be, not at any cost. He emphasized that the Group of Seven, G7 leaders, are prepared to address the economic repercussions stemming from the ongoing conflict. This announcement came during the spring meetings of the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the World Bank in Washington, D.C., where finance ministers and central bank governors gathered to discuss the Middle East war's impact, support for Ukraine, and cooperation on critical minerals. The G7 finance ministers acknowledged that the Middle East war has inflicted global economic losses that must be swiftly contained, reiterating the urgent need to move towards lasting peace. This situation follows the U.S. and Israel's attack on Iran on February 28th, which led Tehran to impose an almost complete blockade of the Strait of Hormuz, causing energy prices to surge. Lescure, whose country holds the G7 presidency this year, described the collective sentiment within the G7 regarding the war as serious. He noted, "We will meet again in Paris in a month to closely monitor the situation and assess the impact." He also affirmed the G7's readiness to take action, such as releasing strategic oil reserves if necessary, adding, "I don't want to pay another dollar to pass through the Strait of Hormuz." He concluded by affirming that peace talks are ongoing and hoped they would yield results. Yonhap News Agency reports that South Korea and the European Union, EU, reached an agreement on Friday to establish a strategic economic partnership. This accord, announced by Seoul's Trade Ministry, aims to broaden bilateral cooperation in trade and economic security, responding to increased global uncertainties. The agreement was a key outcome of the inaugural Korea-EU Next Generation Strategic Dialogue held in Seoul, which sought to foster deeper collaboration in areas such as trade, supply chains, and technology. South Korean Trade Minister Yo Han-koo emphasized that the meeting successfully advanced the bilateral relationship from a traditional trade-focused partnership to a next-generation strategic partnership that incorporates economic security, supply chains, and advanced technologies. Discussions included cooperation on critical minerals, semiconductors, and batteries. Both sides also finalized a draft for a bilateral digital trade agreement, reviewed automobile-related FTA rules, and committed to a communication channel for cosmetics exports, addressing various trade issues. The South Korean Finance Ministry, according to Yonhap News Agency, has warned that escalating geopolitical tensions in the Middle East are causing rising oil prices, which are in turn weighing heavily on both consumer and business sentiment. This situation poses significant risks of inflation and increased downside pressure on the South Korean economy. The ministry's monthly economic report, the Green Book, elevated its warning from potential fallout last month to increasing downside risks. While exports and private consumption have shown improvement, the report highlighted that heightened uncertainties and global oil price surges have dampened economic confidence and are raising concerns about inflation and household financial burdens. Consumer prices rose 2.2% in March, mainly due to oil, and the Consumer Sentiment Index saw its largest drop in 15 months. The government plans to maintain an emergency economic response system and proactively use supplementary budgets to mitigate the conflict's impact. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.